Hi everyone, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Abhilasha and today we are discussing parajumbles. CUET 2027 is uh, one of the most important exams for undergrad admissions if one of you wants to study in the university. So if you want to do your favorite or possibly your dream eco honors or your BCom honors or some such thing, CUET is the right exam to go to. Now we are going to be discussing parajumbles today. Now parajumbles is one very important type of question that you have in this exam. Now what does parajumble entail? It will give you 4 or 5 sentences and there will be some options where the sentences have been arranged in a particular way. So your task of course is to arrange the sentences. Now of course in class we have discussed many ways of solving our parajumbles. So I'm not going to talk about them. We will quickly get into solving the questions. So here is your first question. You have a minute to read and then we shall discuss it. So take a minute. All right, let's take a look at this question. So the first sentence says, when it comes to acknowledging the Armenian genocide of 1915, Turkish Jews have navigated a delicate balance. What is this delicate balance? Kayadi's mindset is a defining feature of Turkish Jewish identity in contrast with the so-called Alvaro Moz mindset, which is characterized by engagement and solidarity with other groups. The Alvaramos mindset challenges prevailing narratives, including official rhetoric denying historic Turkish mistreatment of Armenians. Sentence 4 says it is impossible to understand this approach without a nuanced exploration of memory, political attitudes, and identity. Now, what is this approach that we are talking about? Will surely be this delicate, balanced approach that the Turkish Jews have. So 1 and 4 becomes a mandatory pair for us. Now if we look at 1 and 4, there are two options that have 1 and 4, not option 3, not option 4. So option 1 and 2 are the two sentences that I need to keep in mind. Now I also can see that the Kayadi's mindset will come first and then will be the Alvarez mindset, because the second sentence only introduces the Alvarez mindset, right? So therefore sentence 2 comes first and then comes sentence 3. But in both my orders we have that, but in option number 1, 2 and 1 are separated by 1, 4, which doesn't work. 2 and 3 need to go together. So therefore your best answer will be option number B, 1, 4, 2, 3. Look for mandatory pairs in the parajumbles. That's something that really helps you identify the correct answer. Alright, let's go to the second question. We will take a minute and read and solve. Solve this one, guys. All right, guys, I just did change the options to this question because I felt that the options were incorrect. I think they were options from another question, not the correct options. All right. Okay, let's take a look at this slide. The list goes on. Which list are we talking about? At the height of the pandemic, experts described widely circulated yet unsubstantiated COVID-19 cures as 21st century snake oil. Two renowned computer scientists also use the term. Which term are we talking about? In reference to those who make misleading claims about the capabilities of artificial intelligence in order to generate hype. In our modern day vernacular, we can use snake oil to describe almost anything deceptively branded as a legitimate solution to a problem that ultimately doesn't live up to its promise. Well, the best statement to begin this set will be sentence number 4, or rather, which creates a pair. So, that is a snake oil, and then the sentence number 2, which gives you my other snake oil. So 4 and 2 is a pair, and with that 4, 2, 3, 1 can only be the answer. Okay. All right, let's look at the third question. Again, you have 2 minutes to read and solve, and then we shall discuss. All right, read and then we will discuss. Remember, guys, when we are looking at parajumbles, we should keep an eye out for pronoun antecedent, which is that if there is a pronoun, it must refer to a noun immediately before it. So these two together will definitely form a pair. So this is one thing that you can keep in mind while you're solving your parajumbles. So let's take a look. After all, moral theories such as Kantianism, utilitarianism, and common sense morality require that an agent give weight to the interest of others. So, okay. The second sentence is, it might appear that it differs a great deal. What is this it that I am talking about? I don't know. One issue concerns how much ethical egoism differs in content from standard moral theories. So there is one issue which says that ethical egoism is different in content from standard moral theories. And now look at this. Sentence number 2 says it might appear that it differs a great deal. Excuse me. Then sentence number, so 3 and 2 could be a pair. One theory concerns how much ethical egoism differs in content. Okay, that's 3. They sometimes require uncompensated sacrifice, particularly when the loss to the agent is small and gain to others is large. So who is this they that require uncompensated sacrifices? So I know 3, 2 is a pair, which is here, which is not here, which is here, and which is here. I've got 3 pairs where 3, 2 is there, right? Now I need to identify the other pair. So is it 4, 1? Is it 1, 4? Yeah. And should we start with 3, 2? Should we end with 1, 4? What? Let's take a look. So 1 says, after all, moral theories such as Kantianism, utilitarianism, and common sense morality require that an agent give weight to the interest of others. And then it says, sentence 4 says, they sometimes, so they could be these moral theories. They sometimes require uncompensated sacrifices, particularly when the loss to the agent. Now pay attention. Remember, when we talk of articles, a book will always be followed by the book. Why? Because the book is a specific reference and a book is a very generic reference, right? So an agent and the agent, of course, the agent sentence will follow. So I know 1 and 4 will be my other pair. So with 1, 4, I have got not A. I can either go with C or I can go with D. Now between starting with 1, 4 and starting with 3, 2, 1, 4 starts with after all, which is a conclusion, right? But 3 starts with a problem identification. There is an issue that talks about how is ethical egoism different from standard moral theories. So therefore 1 4 should come after 3 2. And then, so my pairing should be 3 2 and then 1 4. So my correct answer will be option number D. Alright, let's look at the next one. Question number 4. Read. Take your time, read through this question, and then we will discuss. So, in this question, he says Plato is often read as being one of the staunchest critics of the imaginative arts, in particular poetry, because they have the power to corrupt and mislead the soul. So, Plato is a critic of arts, especially poetry, because he feels that they are corrupting and misleading the soul. Philosophy is not fiction, and philosophers are notoriously suspicious of fiction. Okay. Yet Plato himself relies on his fantastic imagination in the Republic. So Plato is a staunch critic of imaginative art, and yet he relies on it. So 1 and 3 looks like a very good pair. His allegory of the cave, a centerpiece of many philosophy courses, develops a vision of people who live in a cave shackled so that they're only able to see the shadows in front of them. So the fantastic imagination in sentence number 3 is continued in sentence number 4. So I have 1, 3 and 4 as a very beautiful set. Now I'll check 1, 3 and 4 is here, not here, not here, not here. So there's only one answer that can be true. 2, 1, 3, 4. And that's going to be your answer. Alright, let's go to the next question. Take a minute, read it, and then we shall discuss it. Alright, are you guys done? Let's take a look at the sentences. So, sentence 1 says, if we think about health, as part of a larger framework of considering organisms as complex systems, there is no return. So if we thought of health as a large framework where we thought of all organisms as complex systems, then there is no return. Now what is this return? I want to know. Framing health in terms of regeneration. So that is the return, I think. And then asking what it means to regenerate allows us to prod our assumptions about health as a singular predetermined outcome and rethink our values in sustaining complex systems in light of damage. So we need to think about what is, what are our values about sustaining complex system? How do we manage the damage, right? Complex systems shift in response to environmental challenges. They adapt to their conditions in order to survive, and adaptation breeds change. So, very interesting. Complex systems change, right? They, when there is environmental challenge, they will shift. When they shift, they're also adapting, and when there is adaptation, there is change. Then he says, what if health isn't simply a return to a previous state? Again, we are talking of return. So now I have got two sentences which talk about return. My sentences which could be really connected could be sentence number 4 and 1, where 4 says that what if health isn't just a return to a previous state, right? Then what? And then he says, if you think about health as a larger framework, then there is really no return. Then what is it? It is a regeneration. So 4-1 becomes a mandatory pair, which is here, not here, not here, and here. So I've got two options, 3-2 and 4-1. Now I know 3-2 is a mandatory pair because both my options have it. So I'll be smart and I'll look at option eliminating also. But my problem is, do I start with 3-2 or do I start with 4-1? Now we have already said health being a not being just a return to a previous state, but it being something else, right? So therefore 4-1 is the one that sets out the problem, right? And wherever the problem is set out, then that becomes our question or starting point. So therefore between 4-1-3-2 and 3-2-4-1, 4-1-3-2 becomes our correct answer. Okay, I hope you got that. All right, let's look at the next question. Here you are. Take a minute, read, and then we will discuss. Again, you have a minute to think about this question. All right, let's take a look at this question. So it starts with saying that what value does a story or movie have without an audience to witness it? So if you don't have an audience, what value does anyone have? The natural human desire for recognition and validation combined with rapidly advancing technology leads to an inevitable consequence, immediate and widespread self-promotion. Now, individuals displaying traits of main character syndrome often seek to create narratives that rely on audience validation. For them, the presence of an audience is crucial. So, who is this them that we are talking about. Very clearly, the story or the movie, right? So I think uh, the sequence here will be very clearly 4 and 1. That for them the presence of an audience is crucial. What value does a story or movie have, right? And then I have individual displaying traits of main character syndrome create narratives that rely on audience validation. For them the presence of an audience is crucial. So then 3-4-1 becomes a mandatory pair. With 3-4-1 I can't take A, I can't take B, I can't take C. I can only take option number D, which is 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay. Alright, that brings us to the end of today's session, guys. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also share this with a friend. If you wish to enroll at Career Launcher, 8130038836, that's the number you should connect. And of course, come back and see us same time, same place next week. Thank you so much. Bye bye.